How's it going, guys? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. Thank you guys again for joining us for another live stream. Right now, I'm going to be sharing my screen just because the market opens in 4 minutes. So I'm going to take this time for these 4 minutes before the market opens. It's called pre-market hours. And usually what I utilize this time for is to analyze certain stocks that were in my watch list the night before that I, in a sense, found potential or identified potential in. So go ahead and let me know what stocks you guys want me to analyze. I'll probably do one or two just with a couple minutes that we have remaining. I do want to thank each and every one of you guys again for joining us. And let's go ahead and get right to it. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. And again, let me start off this video by saying that only invest in what it is that you see value in personally and never trade based on anyone else's opinion. I just want to make sure that we start off by that. We have about 3 minutes remaining. AMD took a pretty solid dip all the way down to 366. It looks like it's on an upward trend right now. I'm currently down on AMD. My stop loss didn't kick in after market hours, obviously. So this is one of the downsides of holding a stock overnight. AMD is not a penny stock, so it's not necessarily something that I'm extremely, just scared about. But obviously, like not being able to manage your losses or manage your position on a specific stock is sometimes a little scary, but overall within the past couple of days it has been showing that it's showing signs of downward momentum. So if anything, I'm on an average of 13.93, so I'm just gonna probably try to sell around $14 just to lock in profits, as I think it is most likely gonna hit $14 today, but it just shows signs of coming down to a downward trend. So let's go ahead and continue looking at stocks that are showing solid volume. So from top to bottom, it looks like it's AVEO. It hit highs of 216 during pre-market hours. It's seen somewhat of a pullback right before the market opens. So that's kind of common for these overpumped stocks. The reason I don't personally like this, although it did very well yesterday when we were when the team was trading it, was that it used to trade around 72 cents, and right now it's trading at about $1.84. So I think it's a pump and dump. Or at least it's way overhyped or way overpriced, especially if we take a step back and look at it at a 20-day analysis. You can see that the RSI it's way overbought. So all right, so let's continue. Let me see what you guys have to say. RAD. Wow, okay. All right, so it looks like yesterday it had obviously a really nice day. I think that's why it's possibly in your radar. If you guys see, it's kind of on a downward trend. It looks like it has a support at around 380. That's where it bounced at. So I try to get in a little bit closer here to the 380 support, but I don't necessarily think that this one's showing signs a lot of signs to continue moving on forward or moving on up. So not something that I'm extremely excited about. FTR didn't do so well yesterday. It's back at that 112, 113 support. So ECYT 153, ECYT came back down to 150. It's like we called it out yesterday. Ended up hitting highs from 150 all the way up to 160. So that's something that we predicted. Now it's back here at around 152. So anything above 150 is ideal. Anything below 150, stop loss out. There's 5 seconds remaining. Let's see if I can answer any of your guys' questions. AMD. Wow, yeah, Snapchat back at 17. So based on its history of its price, it's never gone below $17, and it's been bouncing at 17 quite often. Does it mean that it will always bounce off of 17? Not necessarily, but this could be a potentially good swing trade. As you guys can see, that it does have a lot of potential. Does this have potential to lock in, 10, 20% profit within a couple days? Well, realistically, it looks like it has about 5% profit from top to bottom. And again, a support at 17, resistance at about 1780. So set up a plan that makes sense to you and only traded whatever it is that you see value in. AMD again with another dip, so it looks like it received somewhat of a pullback from market open. That's ridiculous. So it looks like it hit highs of 1385. Looks like it's bouncing back. This is something that's very common with AMD right during the but I don't want because I'm in AMD, I don't want you guys to think that I want you guys to jump into the position. What I want you guys to understand is if you guys don't see value in what it is that you're investing in, then don't trade it. So I want to start off by saying that the reason that I traded AMD or jumped into AMD was due to the well, yesterday I should have really just sold yesterday, but during the market open, it usually has a nice little pullbacks, and then it rises back to the previous resistance. So it had a previous resistance at about like 1450, had a pullback and goes back up to that place. As a pullback, goes back up. But yesterday it did not play out that way. As you see, yesterday it had a pullback, but never went back up to the 1450, which is the ideal sell point that we wanted it to go to. So it's showing signs more of downward momentum right now. So I would like to, before I add more to my position, like to really see something that it starts to rise or break the $14 resistance. That's realistically what I would like to see. Let me get a little bit closer to 1 minute candlesticks. And it looks like it has somewhat of a resistance at around 1380. As you guys could see that this is level 2. It looks like there's good amount of sellers. Oh, man. Yeah, it's not really able to break. It has a support right now around 1370. It bounced at the lowest point at 1366, and it did not only bounce there once, but twice again. So again, that's your support. This is, in a sense, what I call a critical point when it bounces and it goes above, 1370. That's showing or indicating signs of upward momentum. And then I would stop loss out below, 1366, as that's the overall low point. And then it has a resistance at around 1385 that it had during pre-market hours. But overall, if you simply go back up to, where it previously closed at, that's at 1405 to 1412. So let's see what you guys have to say. MBRX, dude, guys, I saw MBRX yesterday. All my alerts were going off, but oh my goodness, this thing is ridiculous. It's been on a nonstop upward trend. I got the alert when it went above 110. I'm sorry, 120, and then 130, and then 140, and then that's all my alerts. That's all it went up to, just because the previous 10 days. I mean, that's all I knew of, since that's pretty much the highest point that it ever went up to. I think it's way overpriced right now. My goodness. But it's pumping. And again, we have a lot of traders within TechBot Solutions that are really good breakout traders. So congrats to you guys if you guys are able to ride this. It looks like it has a support at 155. It's more of a momentum stock right now. So technical, based on like how I usually trade, really doesn't play much of a role with trading this. And that's why we have within TechBot Solutions, that's why we have Connor, who is our breakout trader. So feel free to subscribe to him. He does a lot of videos talking about breakouts. And then if you guys want to get into OTC stocks, we have Bradley. He just made his first introduction video. So if you guys want to learn a little bit more about that, he's the group leader when it comes to the OTC group. So it looks like AMD broke. Oh, nice. Okay. So it looks like it's rising pretty well. I'm gonna put a stop loss in my where I bought in. Once we break around 1395, and if I get filled, I get filled, and then I, just in a sense sell at where I bought in, just because I'm in pretty deep with my position on AMD. Don't go below 1390. So if you guys saw, we called the bounce at 1366 and its highs of 1394 overall. Can we break above 1395? So it's already up about 2% from the lowest point. It says it's down 1%, but again, that's from market open. That's if you held overnight and you bought, or yeah, that's for those that held overnight based on where it previously closed. So that's irrelevant to you as a day trader if you didn't hold this stock overnight. AVEO, damn, this one's tanking. Apologize for my language. Consistent downward trend. I said that this one was going to be too overhyped. I personally don't like it. Oh, lost me. Pullback. Looks like he has a resistance at 1395. Oh, okay, thank you for that. So there's actual news that MBRX has released, and that's great that this is sweet. I appreciate that, Richard. But Angers, thank you again for letting me know about that there's a news release. That's why like networking is so powerful. That's why we have the TechBud Solutions group. And I don't know if you guys have joined the TechBud Solutions like group chats and stuff like that, but you simply have to join our Facebook group. So once you get accepted to our Facebook group, just to make it clear for you guys, you make your way over here to the pinned post, you click see more, and then it has all the links to the group chats that we have available. Again, they're all free. And then again, join the Facebook group, which is all free. I mean, you get a network, and there's just a bunch of conversations during pre-market hours or the general group chat. There's a bunch of different groups that you guys have access to. And we have amazing people like, I believe Anchors, I don't want to say that you are a part of our group, but I'm pretty sure that I think that you told me that you are. Ooh. Okay, guys, I'm going to set my stop loss at 13.95. Give me 1 second. I need to take out my phone. Shoot. It already went below. Didn't put it in time. I mean, didn't stop loss out in time. All right. So I'm going to follow with a stop loss, and if it continues to rise, then I'll just go ahead and do that. It looks like it's breaking the $14 resistance right now. Ooh, we got a good, nice little pop. All right, give me 1 quick second, guys. I just plugged in my phone to my computer, so I don't want any of my like iCloud emails or anything like that popping up. So give me 1 second until it pops right back up. But it looks like AMD right now is right at 14. Nope. So I'll pull back. It's at 13.97. It popped up to almost 14.05, but it's showing a lot of momentum, a lot of volume. It's my top stock within my watch list, seeing the highest volume. I have over 50 stocks. So that's pretty solid. We're seeing a little bit of a pullback all the way down to 13.94. Hopefully we hold above 13.90. I just want to continue seeing signs of upward momentum. It looks like today it's playing out the way that I wanted it to, that it should have played out yesterday. But again, you never know. And I would have never held a penny stock if I knew it was a penny stock. I would have never held it overnight. I personally don't trade it, and that's in a sense a best practice that I tried to share with our community. But if it doesn't make sense to you and it's led to your success, then you feel free to hold a penny stock. Based on the people that I've spoken to and based on the people within our community of over 25,000 members, it's most commonly heard that holding a penny stock, because you can't manage your risk, it's extremely volatile and extremely risky, and sometimes a lot of people end up losing a lot more money and get discouraged. And that's one of the, I think, worst feelings, because you never want to get discouraged, especially at an early age when there's a bunch of people telling you that, based on their own experience, again, not telling you anything that can benefit them, but based on their own experience, holding a penny stock overnight, like a true cap pink sheet stock, has not led to their success. And usually they see more red days when it comes to green days with that specific trade. So my phone is dead and it doesn't let me enter a position. So I needed to pop back up, and my screen still hasn't. I can be sharing my screen right now because nothing is popping up right now. So. All right, so this is my view on AMD right now. It's seen somewhat of a pullback. We're still holding above 13.90, and that's what we want to do. I want to see what you guys have to say. So Richard says, thank you. Bless you. Appreciate that, Jared. I really do appreciate all your guys' support. Don't forget to like, everybody. Appreciate that, Robert. Thanks again for joining us. Okay, David Beltran, I've 100% had a conversation with you before. So, yeah. Happy to have you on the team. Ooh, we're right at the support at 13.90. Let's try to hold above that. And the reason I say, you guys might be asking, why is it that 13.90 is a good indicator for me? Well, 13.90 was a resistance. It was struggling to break above 13.90. So what I've seen based on previous trends is it bounced at 13.65, let's say, right? And it's showing signs of upward momentum, and you want to make sure that it continues to rise. Obviously, it's inevitable if it's going to see pullbacks, and that's why we buy at the pullbacks. But you want it to continues showing signs of upward momentum, and there's certain certain resistance that it, once they break above those certain resistance levels, like 1390, when it broke above 1390 and it, pumped right through all the way above to 14, you want to make sure that it doesn't continue to make, drop back down to 1365 or anything like that, that it continues to show signs of upward momentum. So that's great. We're above $14. That's what we want to continue to see. And if it breaks above 1405 or 1410, then the next one that we're going to want to hold above is $14. So I'm up right now on my position for AMD, but oh man, my phone needs to turn on. And again, this is me being unprepared, and I do apologize. I definitely want to make sure that I lead by example. But again, I'm here in Spain. I had to rush. We were at a restaurant with me and my girlfriend. We were like having lunch at the beach. I didn't even get to eat because they took forever to make our food. I'll even show you guys. I had to ask for the food to go, and I'm having some like curry or something. I don't know. I've never had curry, and I'm having curry in Spain, so I'm not too sure if that's the best mix. But I've had everything that you could possibly have here in Spain when it comes to like their main foods and stuff like that. Honestly, guys, like with all due respect, I love American food and I love Mexican food, and like I miss Cane's so badly. I tell you guys all the time that it's one of the first things that I'm probably going to eat. MBRX. Everyone keeps saying MBRX, MBRX. My goodness, it's back at resistance. It popped up to $2. Holy moly. So that's cool. So people within our group have been calling. Oh, sorry, my iPhone's turning back on. So a bunch of people within our community of TechBud Solutions called out MBRX. They called out AVEO. That's a stock that we analyze within our Sunday Stock Talk. AMD is one that I called out, but again, I'm more of a technical trader, so I don't usually, in a sense, follow huge momentum stocks. But that's why we have such amazing people within our community that all they do is they network and share their ideas on what it is that they're possibly going to be trading. That doesn't mean in any way, for those that are watching, well, I want you guys to understand one thing. The whole point of networking is for exposure. It does in no way mean that I personally have to trade AVEO, MBRX, or anything like that. But if I see value in that, if I'm more of a momentum trader and I personally see value in that, and I can make sense of my position and I can make sense and understand my trade, then why not invest in something you understand? There's always going to be this form of risk. And if you guys haven't seen my video yesterday, I made a video on how to deal with the fear of loss. It's the most recent video besides this one that I've uploaded. I'd highly recommend you guys to watch that video. It shouldn't be too long. And I think it goes through over very, very basic and very important topics that I think a lot of people can benefit from, especially if you're a new trader. All right, we're all good. AMD took quite of a pullback, of course, when my phone turns on. All the way down to 1380, so this is not necessarily a good sign. I had a huge drop. It's picking back up. So you want to make sure that it continues to show signs of upward momentum, and it looks like it might break above 1390 right now. Yeah, so it looks like it's coming back up, but this isn't a huge, in a sense, green flag. Like, this isn't a great sign. It's showing that the resistance at $14 is pretty strong, and it's struggling to, in a sense, break above or hold above $14. So it has gone above 14, but it doesn't hold above it. If you guys see, if you guys understand the Japanese candlestick, it's not continuing to, hold above $14. So that's not necessarily a good sign. All right. He also told me to check out MBRX just because we saw it during market open at like 162 and it's hit highs of 210. So that's 23% potential that it's already gone up, and it's continuing to show signs of upward momentum. So for those momentum traders, that might be a stock you guys might want to look into. But again, at $2 seems to be a pretty solid resistance. So just know that you might be buying when it's way overbought. 1394, that popped up very quickly. I'm just gonna set my stop loss, guys. I'm in at 1393, and when it breaks above 1395, I'm just gonna set my stop loss at 1395. And if I lock in the 2%, the 2-cent profit per share, then so be it. I'm just in a little bit too deep or too heavy when it comes to my position on AMD, so I don't want to risk it. And it looks like it's not holding very well above $14. So that's really just, it doesn't mean that it won't break above 14. No, just based on my experience, when a stock continues to not be able to hold above a certain value, and then it has a huge pullback like this, it just, a lot of people, yeah, it's just not showing good signs, at least not for me. Yep, and there it goes. It's breaking support. Shoot. All right, I'm gonna put my limit order. All right, I'm gonna put my limit order at 13.94.9. All right, order set. Overall, I mean, based on the previous support that I had during pre-market hours, it broke below 1380, and that became the new resistance. So that's a pretty solid support. So like we know, old resistance levels become new support levels. It's coming back up. We really need to break above that 1390 mark. Let's see. Let's see. AMD just released this morning. That's good news. Why is it not pumping up? So AMD, if you guys don't know what it is, it's a company that's partnered with Apple. So when they launched, one of the fastest graphic cards of machine learning development, I mean, that's in a sense good science because now they just like made a technological advancement. So I'm not too sure. I can see why it pumped up to $14, but why did during pre-market hours did it see this huge pullback? It could be more that it's still overpriced even with that news, based on what people wanted to do, and it looks like it might be breaking below 1380, which is not a good sign. So I appreciate that again, for letting me know. I'm trying to see if you guys have any questions. Just broke below support. Pumping back up. It looks like it, yeah, $14, just like we thought. $14. So I'm going to talk to you guys about a trend, and I'm going to end it here. And then I'm just going to continue trading on the background. But so it had the support. So it had the support during 1366. So for those that are watching, this is how I identified the 1366 bounce here to be a valid support. So during pre-market hours, this is why pre-market hours is so useful, especially for those that are just getting into trading, to identify a good buy point or a good support. So it had a support during pre-market hours, this gray area down here at 1366. And it looks like it had a resistance here at 1380. Why is it that it had a resistance here at 1380? Well, it had a previous support at 1380. So like we know, old supports become new resistance levels. It then bounced at 1366, meaning that it held above 1366. So again, support, resistance. Then right as the market opened, it had a pullback all the way down, again, where? To 1366. Ooh, I might get filled in my position. But that's where it bounced at. Again, a critical point, I would have said 1370. I don't care about getting in at the lowest point, but I care that I'm getting in when it's bouncing. So I would have gotten in most likely at 1370 if I didn't hold my position overnight, and this was a fresh new trade for me. I identified a support, I identified where I'm going to buy in, and based on the previous resistance that it's had during pre-market hours, a good sell point, I mean, depending on where it is that you want to sell, could have been 1380 if you wanted to play it very be a little bit more conservative with your position. But understanding that $14 is a previous resistance that it had during aftermarket hours as of yesterday, then that could have been an ideal sell point, which you definitely could have done from 1370 to $14, and that would have been a 2.19%. Potential for profit, which isn't huge, but again, profit's profit. And when trading a stock that is not a penny stock and being able to, even though it's red, being able to buy at the dip, and again, making sense on why it bounced at 1366, looking at previous trends and looking at previous, resistance levels that it had at about $14 and making sense of it, it in a sense makes it a little bit easier for you guys to understand. So that's really why I identified 1366 as a good buy and $14 as a good sell. And it comes down simply just to previous trends. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about why when it hit $14 and I saw that it didn't hold above $14 and it hit $14 once, it came down, it bounced here at 1390. So again, at a support, and then it came back trying a second time to hold above $14. It hit that resistance, and then it just had a huge pullback. Understanding that, it's showing that this resistance at $14 is a little too strong and it's getting a little bit too risky. So sometimes they do come back a third time and either break through or either have a more drastic drop. But it comes down to you as the investor to justify that risk, to see what it is that you're willing to risk. If you would rather just lock in profits right away, follow with a stop loss, or whatever it is that you want to do, but be comfortable and be familiar with these trends on how if it hits a resistance twice or three times, like that might be a good indicator to possibly just sell at that resistance and either cut your losses or lock in profits. And that's really just it. Again, I had a previous resistance at 1380, and that looks like where it's holding above. So next time that it approaches 1395, that's where my limit order to sell is. It looks like it now has a resistance at 1390, but that's really just it, guys. Again, this isn't a huge position. More for those breakout traders that were trading like MBRX and AVEO are ones that, AVEO, I guess is not a good example since it's not, where is it? Oh man, it's losing all its volume. My goodness. Did I pass it? I saw this really quickly and I saw that it said 92 and I got super excited because I thought it was AMD. I thought I was about to get filled. Holy moly. AVO must really have tanked. 1384 looks like it bounced at 1370, so that was a previous support. And it looks like it has a resistance at 1390. So again, support. Support, resistance right now, right? So it looks like it had a downward trend for those that most likely held overnight, ended up being in the red if you guys bought in at this higher point. But AVO, based on how it's playing out, and this is just, again, my opinion, so make sure you do your own analysis. I think it's way overhyped. I think it's most likely just going to start, staircasing down now from now on. But MBRX based on news is doing pretty well. It just popped up right above $2, so that's solid. But again, trade what you're comfortable with. Only trade what you understand, and don't ever trade based on anyone else's opinion, guys. I mean, we like TechBud Solutions. We're a very powerful group, right? We have over 25,000 members, and it's an amazing experience because I get to now work with each and every one of you guys. And feel free to reach out to me if you guys have any questions. This is not like in school when you guys have a question and you guys are sometimes embarrassed to ask a question because of what you think other people are going to think, guys. This is the whole point of this group. Understand that this is This is the whole point of asking questions, and sharing your ideas with other people, because not only can it benefit you, but it can benefit the thousands of other people that are also watching, in a sense, the post within our Facebook or TechBud Solutions Facebook account. So understand that. I encourage you guys to ask questions. I encourage you guys to share best practices, to share mistakes, but understand that although it is very good exposure that you're receiving from other people, never make your final decision based on someone else's opinion. Only invest in what it is that you personally see value in and what you understand. And that's the biggest thing. And if you can't calculate or manage your risk, then that might be something that you might want to work on. And again, that's more of like a technical type of trade. But even when you're doing breakout trades, you could ask Connor, since he's our breakout trader within TechBud Solutions. But even him, every time he goes in, there's a max loss that you should always have in mind, meaning that the most money that you're willing to lose within one trade, and understanding that with investing, there's always this, form of risk, form of loss that you're always going to take on. So it comes down on how you manage it. That can really lead to your success, because if you can minimize your loss and promote your profits, then that's how you're going to become profitable in the long run. Some days, yeah, you might see consistent red days, but as long as you keep them small at like 1%, and your green days are like 5 to 10%, regardless of what it is, just keeping your losses smaller than your profits. And overall, theoretically, like that's what should lead to your success when it comes to trading. But I want to thank you guys all for watching. I really do appreciate all your guys' support. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. It looks like you guys are saying that. Okay, it looks like a couple of people are giving a couple of suggestions. Feel free to keep this conversation going within the TechBud Solutions group chat. If you guys aren't a part of TechBud Solutions already, the link is provided for you down below. We'd love to be a part of your success, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys again for watching. If there's anything else that I can do for you, please feel free to direct message me within the TechBud Solutions group chat. That's the best way to receive my personal response. If you email me, I have different people that manage that, so not necessarily will you always receive my response, but I do sometimes jump on that. And don't feel afraid to ask other people questions as well, because not only can you learn from me, but you can learn a lot from other people, and just know that there's thousands of people that are there willing to answer your questions, as well as wanting to hear what you have to say. So don't feel afraid to ask questions and to share your own ideas, because that's the whole point of our group. And I hope you guys understand that, and I hope you guys see value in that. Again, it is all 100% free, so we really do appreciate you guys joining us. All right, we're going to go ahead and start signing off. I'm extremely hungry, and it looks like my position on AMD isn't doing too well, so I should have sold a little bit earlier on at $13.95. But I'm not down much. If anything, I'll cut my losses if it goes below $13.70, and that's really just it. I'll move on forward, because I understand that when it comes to investing, there's always this form of risk, but it's about having a plan that will lead to your success. So understanding where you're buying, where you're selling, and where you're cutting your losses. Appreciate, guys, everything that you guys doing. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, guys, and stay tuned. We're most likely gonna make a video at about 5:30 Mountain Standard Time for today. Send me and direct message me any suggestions that you guys have for that video. I'd be more than happy to answer a question that you guys might have on that specific video. Thank you guys again for watching.